Why do I talk about jealousy and envy and miserable people so much? What happened to me? Am I hurting? Is there something wrong with me? Am I traumatized? Am I healing? Am I broken? I say that because I'm responding to the comment, just one comment, thankfully, of all the thousands of views. I appreciate you that I've gotten. There was one person, and I was waiting for you, who said, "You're speaking from a broken place. You are trying to mask being encouraging under being bitter and hurt. Ask God to help you heal." Some baloney to that effect is what they said to me in the comment. So am I hurting? Am I not healed? I am speaking to you from a place that you are not accustomed to hearing. I'm speaking to you all from a place of being an authentic human being who has experienced human experiences, as we all have. You see, that's the one thing, and I thank God for that comment, because that young lady further proved my point of how women can be. They don't want to understand truth sometimes, and they don't want to talk about the uncomfortable. And in order to negate that fact and get away from the subject at hand, they will look at the person delivering the message and say, "You must be this, you must be that." Instead of listening for understanding, they like to glaze over the topic at hand and come after you. That is something else that miserable, jealous women who are not healed, not broken, will absolutely do. Instead of taking the information for what it is, they try to come at the person giving the information because, God forbid, you're saying something that makes sense. They can't receive it. They got to find something. I'll give you an example of this. I saw on TikTok, a young lady was very happy. I think she's 26 years old. She just became a lawyer, and she was showing off, she was getting sworn in as a lawyer, the youngest one. She's black, she's beautiful, she looked nice. And somebody put in the comment section, they asked her, "Where did you get your dress from?" And she said, "Bloomingdale's." Do you know there was one miserable person in the comments? They took time out of their life to do a Google search on her dress and found out that the dress was not offered at Bloomingdale's. It was actually offered at Kohl's. And they felt the need to get into that young lady's comment section on her most important day and tell her, "You didn't have to lie that your dress came from Kohl's," or something to that effect. She's getting sworn in as a 26-year-old attorney. And yet, that person took about 5 to 10 minutes out of their day to do a Google search to prove to the lady that your dress is cute, but you lied about where you got it from. That's the reason why I do these videos on jealousy and envy, because of things like that. But to answer the initial question, am I hurting in some way? No, I'm not hurting for nothing. My life is at peace. I thank God for where I am right now. But I haven't always been this way. And I thank God for my testimony, because that's the reason why I can come to you all and give you these videos about the experiences that I have had and observed, so that you will be able to recognize the signs that I did not earlier on. See, people are not accustomed to individuals sharing real life experiences. And when we share real life experiences, instead of taking that information for what it is and applying it to your own life and using it as a warning for yourself, women who are miserable, envious, jealous, and just overall toxic will take that as an opportunity to pick you apart and find something negative to say. That's the reason why I say, into the most nearest future, I will continue to make these type of videos, because of things like that. I don't know what it is, if there's some kind of it's a defense mechanism, or if it's something that's missing in their own lives, where they just feel like they got to say something or do something. And believe you me, I'm no longer bothered by those kind of things. I expect it, I accept it, and I use it as inspiration for my content, and I also use it as a learning tool for the people closest to me, i.e. my daughter. I thank God for everything that I've went through, be it the jealousy, the envy, dealing with women treating me different kind of ways, because not only did it make me stronger and more resilient, it helped me to build up my confidence, so much so that I don't care about things like that. I have a shirt, I have merchandise that says unbothered. You all need to be purchasing that, by the way. It's in our merchant shop. And I'm going to leave the link in the description. Y'all need to purchase some of this merchandise because I literally, unbothered is what I am. But when people don't understand that you can be unbothered by something and still be aware and bring awareness, they think that you're speaking from a broken place. There's so many deep, shallow people on the internet. It's just completely just uncanny to me. And I also want to say the reason why I make these videos and where it all started is when Shanquila Robinson, the issue and the tragedy that happened to her when she went on that girls trip with her friends in Mexico, I believe. And she had just opened up a hair salon, I believe. She's been doing well, but she opened up her own hair salon and she's really was going up. And she shared that information with friends, with her friends. She thought they were her friends. She shared that information. And they all went on this girls' trip to Mexico. And I am sure that young lady thought she was just celebrating her great time with her friends. She did not know that that would be her last time here. She didn't know that she was in the midst of snakes. And I don't want to speak too much about her specifically out of respect for the family, but everybody has been speaking about her. And I'm speaking from a place of love because it is horrible what happened to her. And when I heard that, I broke down in tears. And I am trying my best right now to not break down in tears because of hearing what happened to her and seeing clips of the video of what happened to her. That is why I started. Ooh, I do not want to be this real with y'all online. But that is where my first video on jealousy came from. When I saw what happened to her, and I'm just like, God, what is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? What is wrong with us as women that we would do this to one another? So it's not so much about me. Thank God I have not experienced jealousy and envy to that extent. But when I saw that, that's when my first video was sparked. That got over 74,000 views. And I wasn't doing it for the views. I had no idea that video was going to take off like that. I was speaking from a place of the mother on the inside of me. Because my daughter, she's a teen, 17 years old. And I'm just like, I want her to have that inside meter, that intuition. Listen to the Holy Spirit. Try the spirits to know when you're around people that don't mean you any good. And to use wisdom and discernment to not share with people who don't mean you well. And to know when people are really your friends and when they're not. So if I'm hurting from anything, I hurt from seeing what other women go through at the hands of people they think are their friends. Me, I have a handful of people I call close, but I don't keep too many people close to me because if you say anything, I will say a little bit of fear that I don't want to go through all of that. At this point in my life, I'm almost 40 years old, I don't need to have bestie. It's nice if you have it. I have one bestie, but I don't need all that. So the hurt you might have heard or seen, it's because I hurt for the young ladies. And she's not the only one that happened to, but she's the name that sticks in my memory. Sorry for that, but this is just real. A little bit too real. Look what y'all did to me. Let me sip my coffee. So yeah, that's where that comes from. We just got to do better as women. We got to learn how to celebrate one another. We got to learn how to really genuinely love one another and be happy. Like, sis had her own hair salon. That means she's your friend. Discount on hairstyles, you know. And I'm not saying she should have offered. I'm just saying the way we look at our friends' successes, we need to look at it as in, you know, I'm associated with somebody that's successful. I'm associated with somebody that's coming up in life. Don't be threatened by that. Be happy and feel privileged that you're connected to an individual that's doing well. And many people, many women don't see it that way. They look at their girlfriends level up as a threat to them, and that's just horrible. Yeah, that really sat on me and weighs on me still. When I think about it, it makes me tear up. It makes me upset because it doesn't have to be that way. Stop being a hater. Stop being jealous. Love other women and love what they're doing. Love how they look. Stop being jealous of another woman's looks, another woman's hair, another woman's whatever. It's just weird to me that you can hate another woman that you don't even know sometimes, all because of what you perceive as perfection in her. And a lot of the women who are jealous of some of these other women, the women they're jealous of are as sweet as pie. They would tell them and help them and be there for them and have a great time with them. But because a lot of women possess a jealous, demonic, wicked spirit within themselves, they don't see what they're missing out on. They don't see that they're missing out on having true, lasting, healthy relationships with other women, all because they can't deal with their own insecurities, and instead they choose to put their toxicity and their insecurity on another woman and lash out at her. These girls that she was dealing with, they probably had a lot of talents, a lot of skills, everything. They probably were also talented, but because they were just so enraged at this young lady's confidence and her opportunities, and I'm sure a little bit of naivety within her, they took advantage of that. And that's another reason why I come on here and speak the way I speak. This is a femininity, womanhood, and life advice channel. And unfortunately, a lot of the things we go through as women are not always pretty. It's not always just la 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 la. I live my life in la 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 mode. However, with that, on the inside, I have that wisdom and discernment. And that's why I put these videos out, because I want you to live a free flowy feminine existence. But you cannot do that being naive. I saw another comment of a lady who said, well, I try to look at everybody as a child of God, so I don't worry about those things. I understand where she's coming from. That's that, Christian cliche that we like to throw out. I used to throw it out too when I was earlier in my walk with God. But when I really got into scripture and saw what it said about jealousy, envy, and wicked demonic spirits, I started to realize that not everybody is for God. And saying such is a little naive. When you assume that other people are also kind and sweet and nice because you're kind and nice, that's naive. And being feminine, being wise, being a woman is not naive. You have to recognize that a lot of people are wonderful, but there are a lot of people who are rotten. And while you can't worry about that, you absolutely need to be aware. I don't worry about anything. I talk to you all like this, but in my day to day, I'm not worrying about this stuff. I speak to people. I'm kind to people. I just was at the nail salon and a lady walked in. She didn't speak. She didn't say nothing other than pedicure, manicure. Pedicure, manicure. She was very manly in her approach. Very mean. Not any good morning, not small talk, nothing. Just went there, sat there, and So when she left, the lady who was doing my nails told me, she's very mean. That's why I don't say anything to her. She's very mean. I got that from her. Just miserable for no reason. To you warriors who like to say, you don't know what somebody is going through. You don't. But that doesn't give people a right to mistreat you and mishandle you and treat you however, and you don't have to take it. If they're having a miserable morning, as my girl Tabitha Brown likes to say, if you can't be happy, something to the effect, don't go around messing up somebody else's day. Something like that she be saying. It's self-control. We all have control of our own emotions. It's not our responsibility to make other people be okay with themselves. You have to have that on the inside. I saw another comment. I'm responding. This is just going from what I've seen. I gave you my ER story about how the nurse was very nasty and I left because I didn't want to put my life at risk because of her nastiness. Somebody said if it was me, I would have asked her, how's your day going? Are you having a bad day? I came to the ER because I'm in pain. I'm not feeling well. That's not my responsibility to tell that nurse or coddle her and therapize her. That's a word I just made up. It's not my job to go there and be her mentor and counsel her and say, are you having a bad day? I'm in pain. I was having one of the worst acid reflux flare-ups I've ever had. My whole side felt like it was falling out. Not that y'all needed to know that, but my whole side, I was in pain, hurting. And you say that I should have asked her, was she having a great day? No. She should have came to work with the intention to do her job and to the best of her ability. And if she was having a bad day, feminine discernment tells you, I'm going to call out today because I'm not feeling this. Or I'm going to ask my supervisor if I can take a break or something because I just can't do this. I need a mental moment. Feminine wisdom and energy understands that you must focus on the things that are impacting you in the moment. And if she was having a bad day, that was her responsibility to not show up for work and put her mental wellness first. See, that's another thing I teach on this channel. You have to understand, it's nobody's responsibility to keep you happy, to coddle you, and to make you be a woman or to make you do anything. You have to want that and know that for yourself as a woman. If you're having a bad day, do things that make your day better. Don't depend on somebody else to do it. See, I know this channel is a little bit too real, but I don't know what to tell you, you know? So I just wanted to come on and say that I'm not hurting. I am hurting for the women who experience these things. I experienced this stuff when I was younger, like late teens, early 20s, but further I got in life, you know, I experienced it, but it didn't bother me so much, especially in the workplace. I just don't care. I thank God for my life, blessed for it, blessed for the experience, but I don't worry about those things. Now I'm in teaching mode where I teach you all what to watch out for. But this is a video on clarification about jealousy and envy and where this all started. And I'm glad that you all are benefiting from these videos and seeing them as valuable. And I pray and hope that you will continue to protect yourselves from jealous, envious spirits, and you protect yourself from becoming jealous and envious, because there's no reason to. You as a woman always has a choice, and you can always do better and be better than where you are right now. All right? Don't be a hater. It's not cute. Ladies, unfortunately, there will be some people who are very uncomfortable with the level of success that you're achieving. They will feel resentment and envy towards you the more that you do in your life. Case in point, there's a young lady in Houston who was about to graduate from nursing school, and she's an influencer, I believe, on TikTok. She would encourage other women who are also in nursing school and give them different tips and tricks and strategies on how to successfully pass and graduate from nursing school. Well, this young lady, she had a roommate, a 40-year-old man. She's 23, and he was her roommate. And long story short, he ended her life, unfortunately, over what I hear is a cat. And the way he did this, I'm not going to get into the details, but this seemed like it was more than just over a cat. He had some pent-up hostility, pent-up resentment toward this woman, and I believe it was because he envied her life, because he was resentful toward her and the things that she was accomplishing. When people have bitterness, envy, resentment, when they develop jealousy toward your life, your lifestyle, the way that you move, people will not hesitate to be bitter and miserable toward you, and they often make a mountain out of a molehill, meaning they make things bigger than what they have to be. There are some people, because of your level of success, because of the way you operate and the fact that you are confident in what you do, that you're successful and that you're accomplishing more than the average person, some people will look to be offended with you. They will be defensive towards you. They will look to have an issue with you, even if you're not making an issue for them. There are some people, because they are not confident and or secure in the season of their life, they want to make you feel bad about the season of your life. They don't want you to feel too confident or comfortable, or they don't want you to be more optimistic or hopeful about your life simply because they are unfulfilled in their own. When it gets to the point that people monitor you and watch how you move, and they grow more and more resentful of you over time, that can absolutely be dangerous and turn into the situation that I just mentioned. I believe, especially when it comes to jealousy and envy, and when it's a man towards a woman, as I've mentioned in another video about how men can be just as jealous of women as women are jealous of women, when a man has envy or resentment toward a woman, toward her success, it can cut really deep. And this man does not have to be somebody that you're in a relationship with. This person was her roommate. And I am sure, just looking at his background and the fact that he had previous convictions, and from what I hear, they were in an apartment complex where the landlords actually pair the people together, even if they don't know one another. I've never heard of anything like that happening, but this is what they said was the case according to the article that I read. But this young lady, she was in a room, she was in an apartment with a 40-year-old man. She was a 23-year-old woman, successfully graduating nursing school, and had influence on TikTok. In today's age, when you are a woman, a person in general, who has that influencer status, this is the point number one. When you are a woman that has an influencer status, when you are making an impact in some way, when your name is becoming known and people are starting to recognize you in a positive way, you are going to attract haters. You are going to attract jealous people, and some of those people might be under your own roof or in your own family. And it's very important that you watch out for how you move around those people. Wait a minute. I can hear somebody saying, I shouldn't have to change how I am because they're insecure. That's their problem. That's their issue. I'm going to do me. I understand all of that. And I'm not saying that you should not do you. But as wise women, because we understand that it's not about us, we are not the problem. It is the fact that we live in a world where people are bitter and jealous and miserable and envious of other people. You have to operate in a way that allows you to protect yourself. And that's why you have to move strategically, especially when you are accomplishing a lot of things or when you are leveling up. You do not want to ever put yourself in a position where you have people, you are inviting people to somehow try to create some kind of confusion or drama or chaos in your life. Even if you don't invite it, it can happen. But as leveled up women, as confident women, as accomplished women, we have to be mindful and know how to read the energy and read the room of the people we're around. I guarantee you this clown that she was living with, this 40-year-old clown, this 40-year-old Dusty that took it upon himself to take this young lady's life, I guarantee you that, she was just being a young lady. She's 23 years old, was 23 years old, just living her life, doing the influencing thing, graduating from nursing school. She probably did not notice that every time she was making a video, she had Dust Bucket McGee over there looking at her like, or walking through the room just loathing her and can't stand the sound of her voice, all because she's doing something that he is not, because he's 40-year-old sharing a room with a 23-year-old young lady. Think about that. There are some people, some men and women alike, who grow resentful of people who are not on the same level as them. And I know this might sound some kind of way to people because, they say, well, nobody's better than anybody else. That is true. But some people perceive themselves to be less than other people because they get threatened by the success of other individuals. And I'm not saying this is the exact case or what happened with these people. I don't know the exact circumstances. But I can say just my intuition and wisdom that God has given me tells me that for a man to take her out of here in the way that he did, and I did a little bit of studying in criminal justice, that kind of crime is not something where it's just on the cuff. I just did this because I lost my temper. I wasn't thinking. This was a deliberate attack on this young lady. Look it up. Young lady in Houston who was about to graduate from nursing school. The way he did what he did to her, supposedly over a cat, it had to be more to it than that. When somebody commits a crime toward you that seems like it's overboard, it's often because the person already has some kind of pent up hostility, some kind of issues against the person. And when the person that is the target of their crime, of their hate, of their insecurity, it's because they see you living your life loudly and proudly and happy, and they're unhappy in theirs. And because of that, as women, especially when you're accomplishing things and you're starting to make an impact and your name is being known by people, you're making an influence, you have to be the kind of woman who lives strategically. Meaning, number one, put yourself in hiding. What do I mean, put yourself in hiding? When you are accomplishing things, you want to make sure that you're not living loudly and showing your success to people who are dismal, meaning they're stagnant, they're unhappy, they have unhappy, negative, depressing energy all of the time. Those are not the people you want to be happy about your success around. Yes, it sucks. It sucks that you feel like you have to monitor how you operate because you might genuinely just be minding your business and living your life. But unfortunately, we live in a society where a lot of people don't want to see you do that. You being unbothered tends to bother other people. And because of that, you have to be strategic in how you live your life. So this young lady, I'll give you an example, and I don't know her, but I'll just use myself as an example. If I was in a home or in a place where I'm doing YouTube, I'm doing these videos, and I see just from being on the internet how some people can absolutely resent and dislike a woman who is actually helping people or making an impact or have a difference of opinion, when you know you're dealing with those kind of things, you have to make sure you operate in a way where you're not inviting more issues than what you already have. Back to the point of having someone in the home that's a hater. If I had somebody in my home, unfortunately, that's a hater, which I don't, I would understand and know that when I do my thing, I just do my thing and keep it to myself. I don't have to talk to them about the subject matter. I don't have to talk to them about, how the channel's going, how this is going, how that's going. I just quietly be successful. A lot of women get so hyped up in their success, hyped up in the things that they're doing, that they start sharing all of their different achievements with haters, with people who display dead, depressing energy, and then you wonder why you're not getting that support. Or you wonder why you suddenly don't feel as motivated as you used to feel. I truly believe that there are some people who are those kind of like monitoring spirits, those energy siphons, who like to deplete your energy with their negative moods and attitudes. These are often your narcissistic personalities who feel like because they're down, everybody else should be down, and they want all of the focus and attention to be on them, not even in a positive way. As long as they can somehow direct your positivity onto their negativity, they feel good. And if you're not aware of what they're doing, they will be successful. That's why you have to live strategically as a woman as you begin to achieve things, level up, and accomplish your goals. You have to, number one, put yourself in hiding, meaning don't share your success with dead energy people. If you have a roommate who is coming off as a bum, I just have to say how it is. I'm not saying that to put people down. I'm saying that because there are some people who display bum behavior. Just like this guy who did what he did to this 23-year-old young lady, he was a bum. He is a bum because of what he did over a cat. Think about that. A man being so upset with a woman that he does what he did to her to that extent over a cat. No, he was a jealous, envious, bitter hater who wanted to blow out the light of this lady who was shining so brightly. And that's the way a lot of negative, jealous, resentful people act. And because of that, it's not about them, it's about you. You have to protect yourself by going into hiding. Quietly live successful. Quietly achieve your wins. Don't share it with the wrong people. Know how to read the energy of the people you're around and know when they have hater tendencies and keep everything quiet. Number one. Number two, if you can help it, and I know this has to deal with more monetary kind of things, but if you are able to, don't have a roommate, live alone, and do the things you need to do on your own. I'm not saying that you should not seek outside help if you need it, but when it comes to business ventures, when it comes to leveling up your finances, when it comes to accomplishing financial wealth, moving into a different atmosphere, whatever you're doing, you want to do those things alone. Especially when you are a woman who knows exactly what you want to accomplish and the kind of life you want to live. You don't need any outside input or opinions from people who are going to do nothing but get in the way anyway. I think a lot of women, when you're looking to build a life for yourself, especially once you get into your 30s, pushing toward 40, your late 20s, and you start really understanding what you want out of life and how you want to live, the kind of lifestyle you want to live, that is not the time to have a lot of people around you. You want to get into solitude and actually structure your life, get with God the way I see it, but structure your life in a way that you don't have to deal with all these outside issues from weird acting, weirdo energy people. I don't know, people's finances, everybody's finances are different, but when you're trying to accomplish things, you need to be able to sit in a room by yourself and think about what you want to do. I'll use this YouTube channel as an example. When I decided to do this YouTube channel, I didn't get around a lot of different people asking them their opinions. I got into this room. I have 4 rooms. I got into this middle room and I wrote down notes, and day after day after day, I pondered within myself. And, I got wisdom from God on what I should do next, on what this channel should be about. I saw a vision for my own life and how I wanted to live, how I wanted to be as a woman. And I started strategically putting things in place so that I alone, as a person, can fulfill those things with the help of God, of course. But I say that to say that when you're trying to accomplish things, you don't need a lot of input from other people, because inviting a lot of opinions and ideas, it does nothing but confuse the situation to me, in my opinion, especially when you pretty much already know what you want to do. So living alone, being alone for a time, it's absolutely necessary. This young lady, if you're in college, if you are able to afford to live by yourself or still live at home so that you can have that peaceful place, hopefully, where you can think about what you want to do that. But don't invite strangers into your situations. For me, and this is just my opinion, the dynamic of having a 23-year-old woman and a 40-year-old man that's not related or in a relationship, living in the same roof, and she's doing her thing and he's just hanging around, to me, that's just not good. I just, for my daughter, I would not want her to be in that situation. Some 40-year-old guy. 40 is not old, but compared to 23, it's like, what do you have in common? And then the lifestyle is different. You have to make sure that you're with people, under the same roof with people who respect how you're living and what you're doing. And something tells me, this is just my opinion, that this man didn't respect what she was doing. And a lot of men, when they're jealous of women, they don't respect what you do. They already feel like, jealous men, intimidated by men, feminine men, already feel like a woman living in her greatness and living in her gifts and skills and talents, they already feel like you do too much when they're jealous. So as women, you really have to be able to monitor that energy and make sure you're not around someone who is pretty much wishing for your demise. But ladies, living strategically is going to help you when you are around people, to save yourself from being around people who don't really want to see you succeeding. You know, your success triggers jealousy and envy and resentment in some people who are not fulfilled in their own lives. And when you are a little bit too loud and proud about what you do, you are going to have people who are going to resent you. If you don't have to be around those people, then who cares? But if you find yourself in a situation where some of your biggest haters are under your own roof, you have to learn how to live strategically and move in a way that is more covert, more quiet, so that people are not throwing friction your way and trying to make things harder for you until you can get out on your own. Okay?